connectivity and making sure my video doesn't freeze up on you guys when you're watching the live streams. I was told that it froze up for several minutes on my last live stream on Saturday. So here I go, trying to get this resolved. I don't know if I need to lower quality or what. It looks like my internet provider Wi-Fi is doing better than the Wi-Fi card. So I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe it's because I exceeded my data and they might have throttled it down last weekend. I don't know. I do not know. You can hear Blue in the background. But yeah, I'm just going to give this a try. This is a test. Also, for anybody who may watch this, don't forget, I do have a giveaway going on for reaching over 400 subscribers. It is for a copy of The Backyard Homestead. I might as well do a review on this book while I'm working on my live stream, see if this will help me figure out what's going on and if I have to change the quality or not. So, for those of you who do not know, the Backyard Homestead book is a book that's all about getting started with being self-sufficient, having your own little homestead. It tells you how you can lay out your land to be the most productive. It has gardening techniques, the home vegetable garden. It talks about attending small plots, spacing, even trellises and everything else if you want to go vertical, like they've got cucumbers on a trellis in this little map. It even has sun blocker rotation, tells you which ones will block out the sun, so you want to have them in the most ideal spot. It also talks about gardening planning, the chart, distance between rows, seeds for or plants for a 50-foot row, blah blah blah. Okay, but how many of each you would need per person for a row? And the space between planting. So, like for example, if you want to grow your own dry beans that you want to put away so that you can have beans and rice in the winter or whatever, or even chili or however you use your beans, stews. Amount per person of dry beans, 20 to 30 foot of row. And they use 4 ounces of seeds in a 50-foot row. So a 50-foot row could potentially feed 2 people. Let's see, stuff like corn. It's saying 25 foot a row per person. I could eat that corn. I love corn. Raised beds talks about different ways to do raised beds and everything else. And this over here actually reminds me more of this one right here. Reminds me more of the mitt litter gardening technique, where they have the paths in between the rows and then they have the row itself built up and then evened out. And I'll be trying that mitt litter stuff. My husband's actually out right now getting the stuff we need to fertilize it. We're going to try it on our trees because our trees are suffering transplant shock and we're trying to keep them as healthy as possible. So let's see. Grow more in less space of work. So it tells you, see the long row, you can only do that much, but if you do square box, you can get so much more in. Yeah, I like Aldi's too. I see that some of you are on the comment thread. They're pretty neat. Is it just the Aldi's around here, or do all Aldi's do you need a quarter to put in the cart to get the cart to release? Because that's one way of getting people to return their own carts, but I just thought that was interesting. Okay. Also talks about growing in pots and everything else. So those of you who have limited space, but you have maybe a porch or a deck or something like that, you can have more food that way. Cool and warm season veggies, extending the season like by using row covers or homemade hot caps out of milk jugs. I don't really have milk jugs right now because all my milk is going in half-gallon jars. Oh, fresh cow's milk is so good. I gotta make some more ice cream. Talks about cold frames. All of them do that? Here, let me see. Trying to see. All that you guys have been to? Okay. I thought that was so strange. That was the first time I ever went to a store that you had to use a quarter to get a card out. Really, a Winco? I'll have to look them up, see if I can't find one around here. I'm very disappointed with the Costco out here because the Sam's Club back in Colorado had so much more variety. The Costco out here only carries cocoa powder seasonally. I had never come across that because the Sam's Club back in Colorado, they had, you could buy the baking cocoa year-round. I'm glad you guys are on. Let me know if the stream goes wonky or anything else, okay? I'd really appreciate it. So yeah, talks about growing from seeds. Giving you guys kind of, sorry, I don't know what else to talk about right now. I'm just trying to test the quality. So yeah, we could talk about Aldi's and the Backyard Homesteading book. But yeah, it talks about high yield gardening. Even has a section just dedicated to growing plants vertically. Okay, cool. Yeah, Aldi's does have cocoa powder. I was just trying to buy it in a bulk size because I like having it on hand all the time. Let's see. Trellises. Talks about harvesting and even seed saving. Can you see this? Is the book up high enough? Okay. Oh, it even tells you how some of these are pollinated, like beans that are self-pollinated, beets are wind-pollinated, broccoli and Brussels sprouts are insect-pollinated. So basically they're all pretty, if you get a good heirloom quality seed, it'll most likely be, I got itch, don't mind me. It'll be open pollinated, so either the wind or self or insects will help pollinate the plant. Yes, bulk is good when you have kids. Talks about vegetables A to Z, how to preserve. It even talks about how to make sauerkraut. I feel like I should be in a classroom right now. See, look at the lovely pages. Cucumbers, collards, and it has nice little drawings in here. They're not colored pictures, but they are fairly accurate sketches of them. I don't know, I haven't had good luck with green beans yet. My husband has the green thumb, so if anybody can get something to grow, it's going to be him. Oh yes, it is an awesome book. It's got so much information. As I said before, I actually reference this book quite a bit. Let's see, keeping onions. Oh, and it has various recipes all throughout it, like hot pepper jelly. So, hot pepper jelly, one gal I knew, I like using the jalapeno jelly in a tortilla with cream cheese and have that rolled up. It's pretty tasty. Cut it into little like pinwheels or whatever. But I knew one gal who told me that she would put it on chicken breasts for her jalapeno jelly, and I have not yet tried that. I haven't done much canning since I got out here. I tried making strawberry jelly without pectin, and my internet connection had gone down when I was trying to look up how to make the strawberry jelly, because in the Ball canning book it tells you get to the gelling point, but it didn't tell you how to test for the gelling point. So I went to try to find the internet and couldn't find it because my internet connection was down, so I kind of winged it. So I ended up with a batch of strawberry syrup. Really good. Ooh, jalapeno strawberry jelly. That sounds great. Yeah, I ended up with a batch of strawberry syrup. It's pretty good in milk. Leaves a little bit of chunks, but it's pretty good in milk. But it's great on pancakes and waffles. So, let's see, what else do we have in here? Okay, so, talks about drying vegetables. Some vegetables do need to be blanched. Talks about drying in the sun or in a dehydrator. Even talks about canning. Yes, happy accidents. It tells you the different terms like headroom and headspace, hot pack, boiling water bath, raw or cold pack. Let's see here. Making sure you do this correctly. And then it goes into backyard fruits and nuts. And it talks about growing strawberries. And even different kinds of strawberries. So you got South and Gulf Coast. You get the Tangy, medium to large. Ooh, Tangy, the cave bird's wife. I wonder if she knows that her name's the same as a strawberry. Ooh, blueberry jam. I bet that's going to be tasty. Let's see. So it kind of tells you which ones kind of grow best by region. And I'm trying to figure out, I'm in eastern West Virginia, so does that put me in the northeast or the east? Huh. I don't know. Section on canning 101. I desperately need that. But yeah, it gives you some basics. It really does. It's a really helpful book. Talks about raspberries and blackberries. I was thrilled when I found out that this property had wild blackberries on it. They are so sweet and so good, and I've got to go pick some more because I've still got them ripening. And I want to try to make jelly or something with them. I think that would be super tasty. Let's see. What else? Oh. So it tells you steps for success in the bramble patch. Like cutting back some of the canes and put some wire supports in there if you need to. I don't know if that would work as well for the wild ones. Yes. It talks about blueberries. And we have an excellent blueberry plant that's starting to produce. We haven't put it in the ground yet. It's up here on the deck. But they're large, really sweet berries, and we're only getting a handful at a time, so I'm putting them in pancakes. Splendid. Oh, that's very good to know, Kitty. I forget what the name of the blueberries are, though. It tells you how to prune things so that you get like the best harvest and keep your plants healthy. Yeah, I can understand that. My mom's hypoglycemic, not diabetic, but she also has to watch her blood sugar. Talks about grapes. Oh, they really want you to... Oh! They want you to like chop everything off the grapevine after you first plant it. I'm guessing that's supposed to be really healthy for it, but it just makes me sad to cut that much back off of a plant. And it tells you different types of grapes, where they would be best growing, like which hardiness zones they have, what they're used for. If you have this one right here, the Dixie Red, zone 7 to 9, best uses: eating, wine, juice, jelly. Well, I don't think I'm going to cut my grapes back that much either. But it talks about the secrets of homemade wine and calculating the size of a vineyard, so how many plants and everything else you need to produce enough to make your own wine. And then it talks about the home orchard and fruit trees. Oh, we did put in a couple maple trees. That's kind of cool. I forgot about that. And then they say, think small, planting a dwarf fruit orchard, because dwarf trees get maybe about 10 foot tall, but a standard one can get up to 25-30 feet tall even. And it talks about how to prune and when to prune, so that your trees don't suffer, and that this way you get the best fruits. Oh, I completely forgot about this recipe. It's old-fashioned peach preserves. And it doesn't have any pectin in it. Huh. It has ascorbic acid. Then consider luscious landscaping. So you can have some very pretty landscaped property if you're not allowed to grow much of a garden. I know that there's some places that say you're not allowed to plant gardens in your front yard and stuff like that, but you might be able to get away with planting a bush that might have a little bit of fruit on it or something, and that's appealing to the eye. But this talks about even the Nankin cherry, and Dirt Patch Heaven was just talking about that one the other day. June berries. Looks like somebody has a sweet potato in a pot right there. And it talks about what kind of yield you can get from each of the different things. Like alpine strawberries, they're self-fruitful strawberries, and you can get a half a cup per plant. Whereas like the beach plum, oh, it's not telling me the variable. Okay. Let's see, apple and crab apple. Cross-pollination needed, 60 to 300 pounds per tree. So it depends whether or not, again, you go with a dwarf up to a standard size and everything else. I know, it's crazy. I do not understand why they don't want people to have their own gardens, but when back in World War II era, they have the victory gardens, and they encourage people to have a victory garden, maybe even raise some of their own chickens or some of their own rabbits for meat. So that is definitely a good topic that we probably can discuss more in depth. Let's see, country wines, and it tells you what each thing kind of means. So if you're not sure what like a tannin is, it explains what it is. And a component of the skins and stems of some fruits, especially red fruits such as grapes, plums, apples, and elderberries. Tannins give wine a certain zip by creating a hint of dryness in the mouth when you drink it. Equally important, tannins improve a wine's keeping qualities. Old-time winemakers used raisins or a tablespoon of strong tea. Good to know. And tells you what equipment you need to make your own wine at home and how to do it. Like, you can do it in like 5-gallon buckets in your house. Even has a recipe for peach wine. So if this is nothing more than an advertisement for the book, go ahead and enter. Don't forget to enter. Herb or dried flower petal wine. It talks about cider making even. And it talks about making your own vinegars, even like a raspberry vinegar where you take some raspberry. And if you can't come across fresh ones, they say you can use frozen ones as well. Red wine vinegar and sugar or honey. So you can make your own raspberry vinegar. And I bet, you know what, you can probably do that for like a salad or something. Oh, peach wine is pretty good, by the way. I've had some back in Colorado. We had the Palisade peaches, and we had a bunch of wineries. So they also had a meadery where they made wines and stuff with honey, and they were really good. But peach wine, I had tried a peach wine, and it was so good. Swiss chard. I would be very interested in watching a video on Swiss chard, Kitty. It's something that I need to learn a little more about because I've never had Swiss chard. I'm just trying to get out of my comfort zone and try new foods and everything else, find out what we do like and what we can put back. And doesn't Swiss chard grow keep fairly well? I know it's not like a root crop that you can stick down in a cellar and keep it through the winter, but I don't think it's as delicate as some of the other lettuces, right? Let me know about that. Let's see. And then Go Nuts. They actually named the title that. And then it even tells you like the black walnut and everything. Let's see. It's fairly native. I know that's like the walnut trees, they'll actually put what is it called? It's a chemical that they produce in their roots. Basically kills off competition to water, and you can have grasses grow in the area because their roots don't go down far enough to be affected by that, which makes me wonder if you can do like lettuces or something underneath the black walnut trees because they have shallow root systems. Oh, good to know, good to know. Yeah, I need to work on a fall-winter garden if I get a chance. Things have been kind of crazy around here. My husband got into some sort of poison sumac or ivy or oak or something. His knuckles are all blistered and everything else, and we're trying like tea tree oil on them, and I've even tried making a baking soda paste and everything to try to get his hands to heal, and he's just been miserable, and it's taken a lot out of him as his body tries to fight it. Sorry if this is shaking a little bit. Ooh, and it talks about herbs. And they claim that they're easy to grow, but I could not grow lavender for the life of me back in Colorado. It might have just been too hot and too dry. I would love to grow lavender out here because it makes excellent tea. You can use it you can dry it out and use it as like potpourri. I think you can put it in your chicken nesting boxes too, and it's supposed to help keep flies away. And with having a cow, that's something we desperately need to do, is keep flies away. Oh really, Justin Rose, I'll have to take a look at that. I was just watching earlier, Fauchomatic Off-Grid. She was working on a salve. She just started it. She did a part 1. I don't know if she's recorded both parts because it's like takes 6 weeks for the oil to the herbs to infuse the oil before she makes the salve. But yeah, I'm definitely looking into as many things as we can. We even bought something store-bought specifically for poison ivy to try to help him out. And yeah, as I said, it's just wiped him out, his energy, because he's got rashes up his arms, and it's just, he's miserable. My daughter's gotten a rash, and then I've been fighting migraines. And if any of you have watched my channel for any time, you know I slipped a disc back in December in my back, and that's been not fun this week. I did something silly, I guess. I must have overextended or something, and my back was aching. It's starting to feel better, but it's been no fun. Oh, look at this. It says an easy and fragrant kitchen border. And it talks about all the different herbs that you can put in this one area. And for anybody who doesn't know, be careful with the mint families. The mint families can go wild. They will take root and keep going off. So you want them in either a container type garden situation, or even in an area that's bricked off from the rest of it. No, it's not easy. And I was only 28 when I slipped a disc in my back. I'm 29 now, and I feel for anybody who's had years and years of back pain. I feel for you guys. Oh my gosh. Preserving herbs. Talks about drying herbs and everything like that. Oh no. Oh, Amanda. That doesn't sound good at all. No, my husband said he was actually really allergic when he was a kid, so I'm just hoping that it tames down. Okay, this is the Backyard Homestead book, and this one's my copy. This one's my copy. I'm not parting with it, but I do have a spare copy that I'm doing a giveaway on. And I actually put the link to the Facebook link to the video down there, but in the description box. I forgot to grab the link for I think I just grabbed it for the YouTube video. Okay, well anyways, there's two ways to enter. You can either enter on YouTube and go comment on the video and make sure you're a subscriber, or you can go over to Facebook, because I've had problems entering giveaways before, and I've missed out on like book giveaways because for some reason I wasn't able to put a comment down below. YouTube just hated me for whatever reason that day. Oh, yeah, they thought my disc might be slipped or bulging, but they never did an MRI. They just did an X-ray and said, "Oh, your spine's lined up just great." So, yeah, it hurts because they said that at my age I'm not a good candidate for back surgery. Not that I want back surgery, but I wear a back brace from time to time to try to help my back, and this week I've just been down for the count for a few days. But yeah, he's miserable. He's itchy, and his knuckles are all blistered, and yeah, we don't know what it is. We have oak trees out here. We have plants. I tried looking up the different plants to try to differentiate them. But with the little oak trees growing, yes, I actually had gone to chiropractor before I left. I was going to one regularly before I left Colorado. And I had actually been doing fairly well until this week. I don't know. I think, as I said, I might have overreached or something. But I've been doing the tricks my chiropractor had told me to do. So, as I said, it's feeling better today. But, oh, it's not been fun. But, okay, so they talk about air drying, even microwave drying herbs. Yes, gotta love the doctors. A lot of them are just, how did my husband put it? They only practice medicine. It talks about freezing oils and butters, where you can infuse oils or butters with herbs, or stick them in ice cube trays with oil or butter and put the herbs in there so you can just have them to throw into meals or whatever. Wood-fired hot tub. Ooh. Ooh. It's been too hot for a hot tub. I've been wanting a pool. I guess I could always go to the neighbors and go down to the river. Let's see. It even talks about a really good herbal broth here that's supposed to be great for cold and flu. Yeah, no, I don't, my daughter, they didn't want to take her tonsils out last year, even though her throat was swollen for months on end. And, so he was just saying, give her cough syrups, give her stuff to soothe her throat. She'd be coughing as soon as I gave her the cough medicines from the store. So what I ended up doing is I went online and tried to find a sore throat remedy, and I kind of came up with my own based on other recipes I found. And it's a tablespoon of honey, a tablespoon of lemon juice, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in 4 to 8 ounces of warm water. Mix it up really good, and she actually likes it. She actually likes the flavor of it. Sometimes if it's a little too bitter, I'll add just a little bit more honey. But it soothes her throat, and she doesn't cough for hours. And it's actually helped out so much because they didn't want to take her tonsils out because it was an unnecessary risk. So, oi. It's not fun. Talks about essential herbs, basil, even tells you how to make your own pesto. Oh, let's see. Let me stretch this out a little bit. There we go. My youngest daughter went through that too. Her tonsils were absorbed by her body. They were so bad. Oh, I don't get how doctors can get away with half of what they do. I mean, just seriously, they say they don't want the risk to take the risk or whatever, but you're looking at how miserable your kids are or how horribly you feel, and you're just sitting there going, I don't understand. And so I'm trying to do a lot more at home, so I'm trying to learn what plants we have around the property, and I'd like to try to grow my own echinacea and everything like that. And yeah, I just want to try to make it as natural as possible, because I think things from nature are so much better for our bodies. Definitely. Okay. All right, back to the book. I'm sorry, I'm like squirrel. Oh, look at the book. Oh, look at the line. Oh, okay. Sorry. As I said, I'm just trying to make sure that this is working right. Okay, so it talks about the different ones and what you can use them for. And like cosmere is called the Bible leaf. Its fragrant leaves with a minty flavor were pressed and used as bookmarks in Bibles during the colonial days. Today, cosmere is used as a garnish in tea and for potpourri. Propagate by root division. The plant grows 2 to 3 feet high. It likes sun and ordinary garden soil. So it really does tell you, yeah, money and lawyers, oh my gosh. But it really does tell you quite a lot of information. It even tells you how to make an echinacea tincture. Teaches you how to braid garlic. And yeah, as I said, it's got quite a bit. Ooh, bouquet garni. Traditional French herbal mixture will enhance any soup or stew. Tie sprigs of fresh herbs together in little bouquets, or use dried herbs and make up pouches to pop in the pot. Yeah, sometimes what doctors don't seem to realize is they think they know what's best for you because they went to school, but they don't know you know your own body best. You know how you feel. You know what's going on a little more than he does from you just telling him your symptoms. Yeah, they don't like when you tell them something's wrong. I walked in with my daughter. I said she has strep throat, and they're like, it might just be a sore throat. It's going around. I'm like, no, it's not just, she's got strep throat. They're like, well, we have to do a test. Open wide. Oh, she's got spots on her tonsils. I'm like, she has strep throat. Oh, that could just be anything. Let's go ahead and test. So they tested her. Gag, gag, gag. Came up instantly positive for strep throat. Okay, so herbal vinegars. Even herbal teas, and it tells you growing herbal teas. It'll tell you how tall the herbs for these teas can get, if it's a perennial or annual, how it divides, if it's seeds, stem cuttings, or root division, and what you can use in the teas, like either the leaves, the roots, the flowers, or the berries. So it's very informational. Yeah, I've got horror stories about doctors. I was in and out of the doctors for about a year with my gallbladder. And they're like, well, it sounds like your gallbladder, but you don't have any stones or anything. Your HIDA scan is showing that it's still functioning at 60%, even though you're crying on the table as we're contracting your gallbladder. They finally took out my gallbladder as an experiment to see if I would feel better. And it turned out I had minor chronic active cholecystitis. So it was inflamed, just not enough to really stand out on any of the tests. Oh, scarlet fever. Oh, that's horrible. That can lead to blindness later in life. That's, ooh, poor thing. Turn her into a cookie jar. Yeah, they're not even really, they want you in as many times as they can while they practice their medicine so they can get as much from the insurance companies that paid off the president as possible. Sorry, I am very, very upset about that whole thing. Oh, I don't have to worry about my gallbladder anymore. It's out. They took that out as an experiment. It's gone. Shush. But I was 27 when that got removed. Yeah, poke and hope. Okay, it tells you cooking with herbs and what you can use them in. What parts of them, stems, leaves, seeds, annual or perennial, sweet, savory, or tea, what it's used in, like pastry and cookies, pestos or with tomatoes, stock stews, marinades. Yeah, gallbladder's not fun. Homegrown grains. Actual chapter on the homegrown grains, and how you can harvest them. And it says, like barley, you can plant 75 to 100 pounds per acre and harvest 40 bushels, and each bushel is 48 pounds each. Good morning. I'm just chatting. This is just me testing out my feed, but thank you guys for showing up. Talks about your corn, how to dry it, store it for grinding, how to freeze it, whether you cut it off the cob or if you keep it on the cob. Plant your own wheat field. How to use a scythe and cradle to harvest small batches of wheat, and then how to tie into sheaves and for drying out, and then how to thresh it. Oh, 7 weeks. Oh, yeah, it's just horrible. Winnowing shows you just really easy at-home things. Like they threshed it in a garbage can and they're winnowing it in front of a fan. So things that are really perfect for the small homestead. And then grinders. Cooking with grains, sprouting grains and beans. Has a couple of recipes for like cornbread and Johnny cakes. Polenta. Making bread. Tells you how to make a easy, basic, and good white bread. I haven't tried this recipe. I like my wheat bread. I'm sure it has a recipe for that in here too. Tells you what the necessities are, something that might be helpful to have, and then options and frills, which you really don't need. Your favorite pan, how long it cooks, types of bread, quick breads, basic quick bread, homemade pasta. Even has a recipe for homemade pasta. And if you're doing it by hand or with a roller, here's a rolling machine for the pasta. I actually have one of these hand cranked ones, pasta makers. My mom gave it to us when we got married, and it's got lasagna noodles, fettuccine noodles, spaghetti noodles. I'm not sure if it was angel hair or not. You can make raviolis with it. Yeah, I want to learn. Once we get everything set up with the animals, I need to figure out where I can plant things. And since it is on a mountain here and there's a lot of shade, I'm going to try to see, like, I know lettuces can do well in shady spots from my experience in Colorado. But it would be nice to grow the wheat, and they say you can just grow wheat right there in your lawn. Just cut it down. But it also depends on what your state's laws and everything else are. Or if you have an HOA, they might not be too terribly happy with a lawn full of weeds, especially if your lawn's supposed to be like this tall. Grow your own beer. So they have a wine chapter and they have a beer chapter. And it tells you barley and hops, things you can grow. Yeah, the pasta machines are great, and you know, homemade pasta is just so much better than the store-bought stuff. How to malt it, what equipment you need for your beer. Again, they use 5-gallon buckets for this. Yeah, I need to learn how to make that too. My father-in-law makes his own homemade beer and moonshine. And he's supposed to be visiting here in August. And he's going to bring me some goodies. Hey, all the more reason that if you don't win the book, that he might buy it for you. Right, Jess? But yeah, whole chapter on brew, and it actually has recipes for like fresh hop ale, dandelion bitter, pale horse pale ale, a brown ale, let's see, a good ant riddance recipe. Are you talking like getting rid of the ants? Because I heard if you mix borax with powdered sugar, they can't differentiate between the two, and it's supposed to kill them off. I need to try that still. I just got more borax because I use it in my laundry detergent. I make my own laundry soap with Fells Naphtha bar, borax, and superwashing soda. I've thought about a food plot, like... Oh, borax isn't working. Oh, that's a shame. I have thought about food plots just for the animals, but I'm not sure I have enough space. but that would be nice to do. I was thinking about, if I have enough garden space, maybe doing stuff like sweet potatoes or beets or something like that, that I can also not only eat for us, but can give the extras to the animals. Okay, so chapter 5 is poultry for eggs and meat, and this just talks up drawbacks and benefits, choosing the right breeds, differentiating between egg breeds and meat breeds. But some of these are dual purpose, like the Buff Orpington is dual purpose. I actually have a broody buff right now. Actually 3 broody buffs, but I'm only letting one sit on eggs. Let's see, dual purpose breeds, endangered breeds. I actually have a couple of the Dominiques. Talks about the life of them and how they're doing. Engaging egg quality. I use the float test for the eggs. Thank you. Yeah, here's the float test. Your old eggs are going to float if they're not good. And it talks about how to cut up chickens, but it does not go over the butchering process in this book. As I said, this is just a basic homesteading book. It's got some really good recipes and really good starter information, but if you want a more in-depth book on butchering, I'm not sure if this, I can't remember if the Stories Guide to Raising Chickens has it or not, but I also have a book that was published, I believe by Story, that's all about butchering animals. So it even talks about a little simple chicken house you could do, and it looks like a lot of that could be out of reclaimed wood. Holds 3 hens, 1 nest box, and 1 roost. And they say have 2 chickens for every person in your household, and you'll have plenty of eggs. Yeah, I don't know. I have never actually tried to completely cut one up. I've always just, when we've butchered, I've left the carcass whole. I've never cut it up, but I'd like to do that and learn how to pressure can meat so that I can store some that way. Really, they hate the smell of peppermint. Talks about turkeys. And how to carve a turkey. Because I guess, I don't know, I thought it was pretty self-explanatory on that one. I don't know. Keeping ducks and geese. Talks about different breeds and how well they lay. As many of you might know, the Khaki Campbell is the highest egg producer out of most of the ducks, followed by the runner. Goose breeds. Talks about how to store the meat. I miss having a turkey. We actually were trying to, before we left Colorado, we were going to butcher one of our toms. The last tom we had, we call him Crooked Toe, but we ran out of time, so we ended up giving him to our friend. And yeah, we never got to deep fry him. That would have been really tasty. My turkeys were actually very docile and skittish. I was raising Narragansett turkeys, and everybody I've come across, they've never had any problems with the Narragansetts being aggressive. And if they're aggressive, then, well, they're dinner. Okay, so there's a chapter on meat and dairy. Talks about goats because that's really a lot of small homesteads have goats because they're very artwork for chickens. Oh, that'd be cool. But goats are a lot smaller and easier to handle, and if they step on your toes, it doesn't hurt like a cow does. Yeah, don't let a cow step on your toes, it hurts. Okay? Talks about goat milk. How to handle the milk. Basic. Debone all the turkey. Okay. So basically common sense things that you would learn. Cool milk immediately after milking. Don't add fresh warm milk to cold milk. Never expose milk to sunlight or fluorescent light. Well, it's in the fridge, so it's fine. Talks about pasteurization if you don't want to have raw milk. It was, yeah, Kitty, I started butchering rabbits on my own after watching YouTube videos. And that was a process and a half, and I got the hang of it. And it's still something that makes me squirm a little bit, but I can do it, and I have the satisfaction of knowing I can feed my family and butcher something properly so that it doesn't suffer and that it's not a long drawn out process. Sheep for meat and milk. Our sheep are for meat. Our lamb is in the freezer. She was very tasty. We tried we tried our first lamb chops last night. Cattle for milk and meat. I had really wanted a mini cow, but that fell through for us, so I ended up getting a Holstein Guernsey mix. And she's actually been really, really mild-tempered, very easy. I'm going to have to catch that one, Simply Circus. I'd love to see that video of you deboning a turkey. Yeah, sometimes it's hard not to get attached to your animals, Kitty. Talks about the different cuts on beef. Raising pigs. Different kinds of breeds. Raising rabbits. And talks about how they're high protein and low calorie. So they've got higher protein than chicken, less fat than chicken, less moisture, and less calories. So you don't want to just have a diet of strictly eating rabbit because you will not be getting enough fat in your diet if you do that. Yeah, and each time you butcher, it is a bit draining, both physically and emotionally, but I find it gets a little bit easier if you're thinking about it in terms of, oh, this is meat I'm going on the table, instead of, oh, look at its cute little fluffy tail. Let's see, processing and preserving meat. Talks about wrapping it, how good, maximum recommended freezing times for meat. Like fatty fish, shellfish, and giblets only have a 3-month freezing time, where they say cured meat and sausage is 1 to 2 months. But like roasts, steaks, or chops can be upwards of 12 months. So it depends on what you have and everything else. I still name them. It's really hard for me not to name them. We didn't name the lamb, and so I guess it was easier to eat her. But I have a hard time not naming animals. Like I had some silver laced Wyandottes before that I believe I named Sylvia and Lacey. That's so original, right? Yeah, Amanda, I didn't think I'd be able to do a rabbit either, but after watching a lot of different videos on it, I was able to do it myself. But I was born on Easter Sunday in the year of the rabbit. And so I was kind of, I've got that whole mentality behind it. It's like, oh, I can connect with these bunnies because like, it's all lined up this way, and yeah, they're really tasty. I like them baked, especially after they've been brined. Talks about making sausage safety, and it even gives you a recipe for basic sausage. Chorizo recipe, country chicken sausage recipe. Talks about smoking to bring out the flavors. Talks about making jerky, homemade cheeses. My daughter was actually really good about getting into it, but we started her with her butchering, being around us when we were butchering when she was about 6, I think. And she wants to get right in there and help. So, talks about making soft cheese, cream cheese, goat cheese. It's actually got some recipes in here for all those. 30-minute mozzarella. What I like is they're saying pasteurized milk, and well, we've been drinking ours raw. Making hard cheese. I'm going to have to do that, but I don't have a cheese press. I need to figure out how to do that. Even a sheep milk cheese. Oh, I'm so glad that you were able to use that for the homeschooling. Yeah, that was awesome that I was able to at least catch one of them on tape. I was trying to catch the second one, but my cameras have been wonky. I'm supposed to be getting a new one, but they said it would be here by last Wednesday, but if it's coming from overseas, they might be wrong. But yeah, that's awesome that you were able to do that. I remember one comment on the coconut oil candles I did. They used that as a science experiment for one of their kids, for their kids that they were homeschooling. Colby cheese. Let's see. Making yogurt. On the back of a wood stove in a crock pot. In the sun on a heating pad with a thermos in an oven. Gives you a basic recipe. So there's a lot of different options for making the yogurt. Talks about making butter. Well, yeah, of course. Making ice cream at home. Even got a basic vanilla ice cream. Oh, they use honey in this recipe. Oh, and it's a very creamy one because they don't even mix it with milk. Interesting. I'm going to have to try this one because I tried a recipe where they mixed, it had like a cup and a half of milk and then 3 cups of cream, but this is just cream. 4 cups of cream. Yeah, I thought both of them only had twins. Shenanigans actually lost her third one. It didn't develop right. We came out from lunch and all three were already born. And then that night while dinner was cooking, we came out to check on why the dogs were barking, and Diva had Ori already born. And then Bullseye came quick. I couldn't even hit record on the thing before he was out, and then luckily I had it just in time as she was giving birth to Squeals. Okay, talks about food from the wild, beekeeping, the flavors of honey, foraging, kind of like find a good guide to wild edible foods, what kind of tools you may need, harvesting. Even talks about making rosehip jam. Talks about which ones you need, dandelion coffee, dandelion wine. I love the little backstory to dandelion wine. It goes, dandelion wine, believed to be of Celtic origin, is regarded as one of the fine country wines of Europe. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, it was not proper for ladies to drink alcohol. However, dandelion flower wine was considered so therapeutic to the kidneys and digestive system that it was deemed medicinal even for the ladies. It talks about flower fritters, making maple syrup, how to tap the trees for them and how to grade them, and then it's got a bunch of resources like seed resources, gardening resources. I know that they have layman's in here quite a few times, and that would be excellent for a lot of the kitchen stuff that you need. A little pricier, but their stuff is supposed to last for a while. It has a hardiness map, and then selected city municipal codes, because some places have weird rules on how many chickens they can have by which state. And then I know that some states are actually allowing permits to have like Nigerian dwarfs, female Nigerian dwarfs for milk goats in the backyard. So basically pet goats. And this book, again, is The Backyard Homestead. I'm giving away a copy of that. The link to the video is down below in the description box. But yes, I love this book. I do reference it quite a bit, and I keep forgetting it has so many good recipes. Because I love recipes. Yeah. But, oops. Yeah, this talks about from a quarter of an acre what you can harvest. Do I have this lined up right? Tilted right? There we go. Really? Solid cage sides on the cage. Huh. Yes, I love this book. It was probably one of the first homesteading books I got, other than a couple of story guides at the time. I now have tons of story guides and tons of homesteading books, and again, this is one of my favorites. But yeah, this is the one I'm giving away, is a copy of The Backyard Homestead, to celebrate having over 400 subscribers. But yeah, did the stream freeze up at all for you guys? Extra long, more airflow. Well, that's very good. Okay. Well, it looks like after I've been on here a while, that's when it starts to freeze up. So I don't know if it's the service provider or what the case is. I don't see it doing the loady thing on the thing. But I may have to turn down the quality a little bit on the video for my Homestead Network thing for Saturday. But I'll have to bug somebody who knows more about that than me. It's still buffering. I don't know. I don't know if it's me or if it's you guys. I know that it's starting to get a little windy and we might have a storm rolling in. So, yeah, I might have to turn down the quality on the video a little bit for the live show Saturday. But this was a good test run to see how everything was doing. And it was a great advertisement for the book I'm giving away for the 400 subscriber giveaway. See? Ooh. And don't mind me, I'm a little bit of a dork, but my husband loves me anyway. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and call it quits for now. Thank you everybody for coming on and taking a look and seeing how everything was. And yeah, as I said, I'm going to have to adjust the quality a little bit. I didn't freeze up or buffer there. Huh. That is so strange. My stream Saturday, that's going to be fun. I'm going to basically be talking about barter items a little bit. So that's a little heads up there. It's something that could qualify for Homestead or Prepper. So I figured I'd have a little bit of fun with that. I've done a little bit of research so that I can possibly not freeze up, choke up a little bit during the presentation. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for now. Yes, dorks are the best. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for tuning into this. And I'll see you guys Saturday. I did get a video clip the other day when the babies were 5 days old, hopping around. So I need to get that edited and put up. And hopefully I'll get my new camera here before too long. Alright. Talk to you later. Bye.